Hello, hello, hello. It is about 11:30, um, and I'm here, and I'm not sleeping, obviously. I just, I'm in one of those places. I'm sick, and I've said this before. It's like, goes with it. It's like the pain, and the not sleeping, and the anxiety increase, and everything. It's just crazy. Um, and I think it has to do with the fact that I usually start to have increased pain when I'm stressed out. I don't think it's the stress physically making me ill, but since apparently like the erythema nodosum is an immune system issue, I don't know, it's always there, in other words. And whenever I get stressed out, just like you're more likely to get a flu, I get the bumps on my shin and the pain. So I'm having erythema pain. It's it's very clearly erythema pain, but what causes the reoccurring erythema nodosum is up in the air. But I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm going to talk about it real quick because I'm having kind of an issue and I'm getting to be kind of a freak. Um, I know I've talked to Melissa about this. That's my 100-pound meltdown, because I've gone to her conferences, which I need to go back to. I miss them, and I am a slacker and a flake because I am flaking hardcore on that. But anyway, um, I am pretty meticulous about how I do my foods and how I do my points, and I always have been. Um, Last time I did Weight Watchers before my daughter was born, so almost 9 years ago, I was very meticulous then, and I am even more so now. And I'm very structured about it. Um, and I think that when I switched from momentum to points plus, it threw me off. And people always ask, and I think what really did it for me was that, to my knowledge and how I use the plan. Now I don't know if there was anything that breaks this exception, but to my knowledge, if something on momentum, the momentum point system was 0 points, that means that when you put it into the calculator, it would come out to be zero. You put in like certain vegetables, it came out to be zero. If you doubled it because you were eating 2 servings, it would come out to be like 1 point something. So you had to be aware of that. But it would actually work out to be zero. I was thrown off with points plus how you would calculate things and it would come out to 2 or 3 and they were telling me to eat it for free. And it just would just throw me off. And then because of the higher carbohydrates, like equating to higher points, some fruits have a lot of carbohydrates and say they were higher in points. So it's a good system if you're able to just charge yourself zero for the fruits because the higher breads eat up your points and then you fill that in with eating more 0 point fruits. But for me, knowing that they costed points, I could not allow myself to eat them without counting the points. And what happens when you count the points on your higher point foods plus on your fruits is you use your points like that and then you're left with no points and no real way to like figure out what to do. So that's what happened and I switched back. But while I was on points plus, as a backup because of how lost and crazy I was feeling, I started to count calories. Now, I counted calories. I used to do this like every once in a while. I have it on my blog where like just to get an idea of how many calories I was taking in, I would just go like enter one day. I would like at like the day after I pointed myself for everything, I would go in and enter everything that I ate and be like, oh, that's how many calories I'm eating roughly. Okay. But when I was on Points Plus, I started to do it like in my journal. And I put this on my blog and I talked about it. And then I realized how neurotic it was, which is kind of a good thing about blogging. It's kind of like I'm much better at explaining myself and figuring out how I feel about something as I talk to somebody else. Because it's like as it tumbles out, it makes more sense. So I kind of do the same thing with blogging, and I blogged my tracker, and then I left my tracker at work, and I was like, oh, I have it on my blog, and I went and pulled it up, and I was like, oh, this is a freakish tracker. If people looked at this, they would think this was Weight Watchers and probably not join because it's freakish. Okay, but what I've been doing in the new 3-month journals, 4 points plus, they have like a place for time, hunger level, food, points plus value, blah blah, right? Okay. Um, in the time little column, I've been writing how many calories there are. And then at the top, I've been doing like a goal. So like today, my goal was to consume 1,000 calories. I allowed myself to go over. I actually wound up consuming 1,150. But I worked off. When I worked out for half an hour, I burned about roughly 220 calories. So it came out to under 1,000, which makes me happy. Okay. Um, then I started to realize, and it was like I'm I'm getting a little obsessed. I'm getting a little wild with it, and I need to let it go. I need to do that. I need to stop and to go back to just points and to let it go because I'm starting to get kind of neurotic about it. Um, I actually felt, and it's okay to feel hungry. And you know, it's another thing. Let me just tell you, I'm hungry a lot, and it's not hungry like hunger pains. I haven't eaten. It's like I could eat, and normally I would eat in my old life. Um, it's not as easy as it might seem, but I mean, I'm hungry a lot, and I've learned to live like that, and that's okay. But I've been getting actually like hunger pains because I'm limiting my calories too much, or I'm not eating. It's just ridiculous, and so I've decided I have to let that go. And one of my things I'm gonna do is Fiber Plus bars. Love these things; they're so good. But what I've realized is I need to make better use of the points I'm using and let go of everything else. Just make smart choices with the points I'm using. So I decided that this is usually my go-to snack. I'm going to go with this. A cup of unshelled, like in the shell still, edamame. I can snack on it all day. I love it. I love it. This is lightly salted. It's frozen. Comes from Walmart for $1.69 a bag. It's awesome. But a cup of it is like equal in calories to the Fiber Plus bar, and it's got a fair amount of fiber, not as much as this, but still. Um, and chocolate and sweet triggers me to want to eat more chocolate and sweet, so I'm gonna try to like stay away from it and go with the edamame. So that's one of my big things that I'm gonna do this week. Switch that out, and I'm gonna keep on exercising and working out despite the pain in the shins. And I'm going to work very, very hard on letting go of counting calories. Now, usually when I do a big change, I need to do it at the beginning of the week and just go with it. So I'm probably going to continue to count the calories this week. On Saturday, when I start over with a fresh lot of extra points and I start over with a fresh week, I'm going to let go of counting calories. That's my plan. And if I have to, I will have to take a picture of my tracker and put it up to like hold myself accountable. Or just tell y'all I'm not going to do it. But that's what I'm working on. So, being very careful because I feel like I can see how somebody would get an eating disorder in the opposite spectrum of the one that I have. I mean, I'm a binge eater, and April talked about this too. She said, "Oh, I don't like it when people say they are binging when they just go to McDonald's." No, I used to go every. That's just crazy. It's a whole other story, but no, I know what a binge is. I have been there, like a big girl binge, and I'm a binge eater, and so not a purger. Never been a purger, but a binger. Um, it's it is wild and insane, but I can actually understand how somebody would go in the opposite direction because if I had more time to work out, I would never leave that treadmill. And I was like, in my brain, I was trying to calculate how I could burn, like, if I could live off of 800 calories and burn 800 calories. And I was like, starting to get kind of nuts with it. Not healthy. And I realized that, and I'm talking to you about it so that I can hear myself and so that I can fix this because I don't want to go in that direction. I'm working to make my relationship with food healthy. I don't want to create a different yet still unhealthy relationship. So that's what I'm working on. And yeah, that's what I'm working on. So